plain account of what three ancient texts describe together. There is something wrong with the world, and most people know it. Not in a specific political way, not in a way that fits cleanly into any tradition's vocabulary. Something foundational. Something that operates beneath the noise, beneath the institutions, beneath the explanations that keep being offered and keep failing to hold. You are not imagining it. Three texts written across centuries, across cultures, across very different contexts, describe the same thing, not as metaphor, as structure, as a campaign with identified forces, identified mechanics, and identified outcome. This is not a denominational claim. It is not the property of one religion or one nation. The remnant being called in these texts is not an ethnic group or a doctrinal category. It is the people who come through the fire, who survive what cannot be avoided, who emerge on the other side, still carrying something intact. The enemy has a name and a structure. The first thing all three texts do is name the enemy before describing any response. This is not an accident. You cannot engage what you have not identified. The unnamed threat is the threat that works because it moves through language you trust, through institutions you inhabit, through people you respect, while remaining invisible. The first act of warfare in every one of these texts is identification, not accusation, not paranoia, recognition. The enemy operates in tiers. It is not chaos. It is not random. It is structured authority, hierarchical, systematic, and working across multiple fronts simultaneously. It's functioning in the institutional, behind the system, in the semantic, the meaning of words, juridical, what counts as justice, psychological, what you tell yourself, and the interior, what you believe without knowing you believe it. The corruption is not above. It is the operating system. This is not hopeless information. It is actionable information. You cannot stand against something you have misread. The texts give you the actual profile so you can stop responding to the wrong thing. The field condition is named accurately. One of the oldest texts in this set describes a specific collapse. Truth has fallen in the public sphere. Not weakened, fallen, on the ground, and everyone stepping on it. This is not an editorial. It is a field report. When the field condition is accurately named, you stop trying to fix the wrong problem. You stop thinking the issue is a better argument, a smarter campaign, a more articulate explanation. The field condition is not an information problem. It is a structural collapse. The prescription in the text is not more words. It's armor and posture, and the recognition that you are operating inside a war, not managing a misunderstanding. The false diagnosis, peace, when there is no peace, is specifically flagged. The people offering that diagnosis are not all acting in bad faith. Some of them genuinely cannot read the field. The text distinguish between malicious diagnosis and failure of sight. Both have the same effect. They send you into the field wrong. Read the field accurately. That is step one. You are not supposed to win this alone. Here is what the three texts agree on, and it matters. The seventh engagement, the decisive one, is not won by human superiority. It is won by the Creator acting directly. You are not the final agent. You are a functioning participant, in a campaign that was designed before you arrived and whose outcome was determined before you stepped into it. That is not a reason for passivity. It is a reason for correct posture. You operate while the campaign runs. You hold the line you were given. You do not abandon your position because the outcome is not yet visible. You do everything you can do, and then you stand and hold the line. The fire comes. The remnant is not who avoids it. The remnant is who comes through it, still carrying the seed of what needs to survive. The enemy is coming from the wrong direction and wearing the right appearance. In Ezekiel, the force that arrives wearing the signature of divine movement, the cloud that covers the land, looks like presence. It is invasion. This is the hardest part to hold. The enemy in the final conflict is not obviously evil. It has institutional authority. It has civic legitimacy. It has theological language. It arrives from the direction you expect the sacred to come from. The interior monologue of the enemy is quoted by the text before the enemy speaks it aloud. The Creator narrates the strategy, meeting the opposition, to show you that there are no private plans. The corruption that believes it is operating undercover is already in the open record. We are not fighting individuals. We are fighting tiered structure operating through individuals, which means the individuals can be retrieved, even the ones at the bottom of the enemy's order. The text that makes the most extraordinary move at this point, the destroyer prophesied in Ezekiel, is identified by ancient sources as Scythian. Paul, writing in Colossians, names the Scythian as fully included in what the Creator is doing. The people who were prophesied to destroy are retrieved. The category of the enemy is not the category of the permanently lost. Whoever can be recovered will be recovered. Whoever chooses the other side chooses it. What this is actually for, the stated purpose of this entire event, named explicitly in the text, is not the survival of one group and not the punishment of another. Divine self-disclosure. The Creator making himself known to the nations, every nation, every people, not through a denomination, not through single tradition's gate, through an event in history that is witnessed by all of them. After the event, the face no longer hidden, the Spirit poured out, and the people who came through the fire, who held the line, who recognized the corruption without becoming consumed by it, they are positioned for something the texts call restoration of function. Co-creators, not subjects, not spectators, people with their original capacity restored. That is what was corrupted. That is what the enemy is working to prevent. And that is what the three texts together say is coming. Not because we earn it, but because the campaign was written that way from the beginning. The call is simple. Remember the Creator, not the institution, not the denomination, not the theological category. The Creator, the one who made you with a function, watched that function get hijacked and corrupted, and designed a campaign to restore it. Recognize the corruption in the systems, in the language, in yourself. Accurate field condition is not self-condemnation. It is the prerequisite for correct posture. Reclaim your function, not by overthrowing the enemy, by doing the work you were made to do, with the equipment you were given, inside the campaign that was already running when you arrived, and standing when you have done everything you can do. The remnant is not a religion. It is whoever comes through the fire, still carrying the seeds. That is the call.